Good evening, everybody. Sorry to keep you all waiting for an extra almost 10 minutes, but you know how things go over here. I am joined, as always, by my fabulous cohort, Dean.
Yeah, it's DA Stoller.
DA Stoller this evening. Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. Um, we don't have a whole lot today, so it might be a short stream. And like last week, which seemed to work out really well. Um, Hello, everybody in the chat. The esteemed Jim Tuner, the historian of Comicsgate. One day he will be on our stream. That is my dream. But yeah, I think we should go ahead and just get started. The first clip
Yeah.
tonight was actually it was a stream by Michael Bancroft that we were all in the chat when it happened. And it was pretty weird. They had
Well,
some very Oh, go
I
ahead.
I think the weirdest thing was seeing anti-CG uh uh new figurehead Liam in the chat was definitely the weirdest part.
But he's not anti-CG. He just hates CG.
Y- No, he's definitely anti-CG.
Yeah, I think so too.
He talks bad about CG, and then he streams with anti-CG prominent figures.
Such
Yeah.
as.
Such as Doug Tenable and Preston Bolter. We don't have to go into that, but
We should. Might as well keep talking. All right, so here we go. I'll add that to the stream.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and get started.
Not the customers need the people that they're backing to declare themselves as Comicsgate if they're going to back them. And I started off by saying, I promote people on here who are, I wouldn't necessarily say they're part of the community or they're flying the Comicsgate flag. They're definitely CG friendly. It's like they don't have any...
You declare if you're in this network promoting your books. If you don't, I'm not going to back you. I'm not going to support you. No, I'm not going to campaign against you. I'm not going to go full sketch. I'm not going to do any of that. But I'm not going to talk about your book. I'm not going to back your book. I'm not going to retweet you. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm not going to recommend your book. I think it's a little bit disingenuous for somebody to come in here in our little community here and start shilling their book when we've had people that had skin in the game, and all these prices that Will was saying and Bandito was saying that you're going to pay a price. We've had guys in here that paid that price.
CG. Rob, did you want to say what your tiers were?
The kind of I came up with this incredible tier system just before we started. So tier 1 is I'm Comicsgate. Tier 2 is I'm not really anything but Comicsgate. People are cool. I'm happy to interact and hang out with them. So that's tier 2. Tier 3 is I'm not Comicsgate, but I'm going to try and use the Comicsgate network to market my book and sell copies. And then tier 4 is I fucking hate Comicsgate and everyone involved with Comicsgate. They're the 4 tiers.
On tier 3, are they trying to pretend that they're Comicsgate?
Yes.
Well, yeah, they'll do anything to sell the book, right?
Yeah.
The only person like that is
actually
Tug.
here to be part of Comicsgate, or
I know, right?
Is where books sell, so that's why they're here.
Well, I back books that aren't CG, but
you have no problem with these books, or even mainstream books potentially. What you're saying is you don't support people who come and promote to CG, like try and shop themselves around as though they are CG, but they're not really.
I use Rob's tiers 2 and 3 and just lump them into 3.
Oh, thanks. It's good to be here. Subject matter. Do creators need to declare Comicsgate in order to get support?
Earn your support, yeah.
My support? Yes.
Yeah. It is kind of a deal of opinions.
Yeah, almost definitely. Unless it's somebody that I know personally. It's a friend of mine. Better.
My
Billy
boy
Tucci doesn't need to come out and declare Comicsgate. He doesn't. We've had private conversations about it. I know where he stands, so I put him on my channel. He's my friend, et cetera, et cetera. But for somebody that I don't know, yeah, of course, I want you to be Comicsgate. Say that you're Comicsgate. The question is, are you Comicsgate? Are you not Comicsgate? Are you part of
Comicsgate?
Because when you say you're
No
Comicsgate,
hailing on our
people are
show,
mean
Dean.
to you.
It's kind of related in the sense that like it's going to determine
I heard
the types
Liam
of
Gray's
fans that we're going to
anti-CG
bring
now.
over here too. Right. So if those fans are again are the ones that are going to say like, well, now do I want to declare myself Comicsgate? Do I think that I want to be associated with Comicsgate? If the more and more pros get over here, then is Comicsgate just sort of such a broader term for just indie comics? And when you have these big names come in, do you feel that some of the big fish are taking from the little fish? Like, is there a set amount of money in CG that goes out every month?
But yeah, and then again, over the past couple of years, I think that there are a lot of people
awesome.
who were trying to impose rules, and I was trying to find a structure for how I was going to choose to, and it all fell apart. It all fails. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of background. There were some questions in the chat about who these people are. They're
Nobody's.
nobody's. It's CG.
Hey,
They
watch your mouth.
Hey, Michael Bancroft was the gentleman who did the Stan Lee animation that got Liam yeeted from YouTube for a while.
Yeah, thank you, Bancroft.
Um,
No, I'm
the
joking.
Rob guy who came up with the whole idea of tiers of Comicsgate fakery is the guy behind, I believe, Sovereign Wolf, I think. I might so be wrong, but he does have a book. I saw him on stream with Malin once and they were talking about it. And so there's Smiling Bandito who
Smiling Doxito.
Smiling Doxito, exactly. And then the other one of them is the Camel Moon guy who just I think that's the guy that did the weird animations that got
Nobody's
he did
gonna
he
know.
did the Space Ghost things with Ethan and the gang that got pulled from IGG. Yeah, none of them know a thing about quite seem to get copyright. And then the other two, I have no fucking idea who they are.
Yeah,
No
but
clue.
I think the funniest part of that stream is more so like this tier system of Comicsgate. Like there's no tier system of Comicsgate. And nobody's pretending to be CG. Except for maybe certain trolls that do it for fun on streams. But nobody's pretending to be CG except for Tug.
It's weird because they sit there and they talk on this stream. It's one of those weird Comicsgate circle jerks that happens every once in a while when nobody has content.
Those are my favorite circle jerks.
Where they
the
sit
only ones
there
I show up to.
Yeah, that they sit there and they talk about what CG is and what CG should be and what CG is supposed to mean, and like we haven't been entrenched in this shit for years and they should have already figured this crap out. Right? And you're right. The whole idea and that's one of the things I found fascinating about this. The idea that somebody would pretend to be Comicsgate to come in and make that Comicsgate money when they don't have to be Comicsgate and can make much better money over on Kickstarter is bizarre.
Yeah. Like who's going to pretend to be something that can only hurt them? And they acknowledge on this stream that being CG hurts your branding.
It's bad for your future prospects and your career. It makes you lose friends, you lose this. It's just there's all these sacrifices you have to make to be Comicsgate, but people will pretend.
Yep.
So that they can lose future prospects. They can lose all their friends, but they're going to pretend to be CG to make money.
Yeah. It made no sense. The only person who does it is Tug.
Which, speaking of money, no, I'll get to that in a second though. But then Ethan comes in And Ethan blows all of their talk, the last 45 minutes of, thumbs up each other's asses, and just blows it all out of the water.
Yeah.
He starts talking about how you can't really wrangle CG. He tried to, and it didn't work. That you can't really put a label on it, and you can't force people to be CG, and you can't make people say they are, and people are just going to back whatever the hell they want to back. Right? I mean, of course, he wants people to be Comicsgate because it's good for his branding, but I don't think they quite got that. They all kept trying to explain their theories, and Ethan's sitting there, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Placate, 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 gaslight, placate. And then, but none of them ever quite got that Ethan was telling them the exact opposite of what they'd been talking about for 45 minutes. It was quite weird. It was really weird.
It was weird, because like who really cares about, this ranking of CG, and like who really believes it other than these people? It was weird. I think the only reason we really chose, like the only reason we know about it is just because
we were all in
yeah, and others were just shit posting.
in the chat.
It just happened to turn out to be much funnier than we ever could have thought.
And so, speaking of money in CG, Mr. Dongs had posted up on Kiwi Farms a small piece of an Excel file that he has. He's been tracking all of the campaigns and how much money they make. He's set up some sort of bot. It's pretty fabulous. But he finally got it set up so he can differentiate between closed, active, and in-demand campaigns. And currently, these are all of the active campaigns on Indiegogo that are Comicsgate. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. I don't know, Vestry 2 had ended up on this list, but I took it out. It comes from that website that we shared a couple of weeks ago where somebody is tracking all of the IGG contributions for Comicsgate. And I don't know why they included that particular one. So what you see here, of course, is that the top 3 campaigns, 2 of them are Ethan's, and 1 of them is Richard Meyer's. Ethan's the only one, his book in particular is the only one that's broken 6 figures. That Snowman is still sitting at is now sitting at 57-ish. Richard's only done about 50K. And then there's this big, huge drop because the 4th campaign that is currently active to make money is at $16,500.
Yeah. What's yeah. No, sorry, go on.
And then the next one, the 5th one, hasn't even broken 7.5K. So CG doesn't seem to be doing too incredibly well. Now, some of these I'd never heard of.
We're doing just fine, Vicky.
Hashtag
Comicsgate.
Hashtag Comicsgate. A few of these I had not heard of, and I didn't know what they were. Granted, I don't watch a lot of the smaller streams, so I don't know if these people are even out there on YouTube, if they're only in, if you can only find them on Twitter and they do the occasional show. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of money trickling into the active campaigns.
Yeah, the real news there is if you look out the gross per page.
Yes. The
because
gross per page is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it tells a completely different story. Whereas like the top 3 still make the top 3, but then number 4 would actually be Nasser Rabadi's Asil, right?
Right, Asul. Yeah, at gross per page at $217.25 versus Sovereign Wolf, which is of course funded $16.5K. That's at $164.35. That's the next gross
Yeah.
per page, and that's due to the fact that he has more backers.
It's funny because that made almost 4 times the funding amount that ASOL made,
Yeah,
and
and
yet
well, it's also, I think it's a 20 Nasser's project is a 24-page comic, black and white. Sovereign Wolf, I think, is a 48-page graphic novel, full color, but still, it's quite a differential. Quite a differential. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing that.
Yeah.
And if you want, we can move on to the next.
Yeah, I think we should, but I don't even think we really need to explain this next clip. Let's just to quote Testify, just let it happen.
For $4.99, I heard Liam Gray is anti-CG now. It's a shame to see him in the chat, no longer speaking positive.
Now, what does Dean mean here, right? Because there's the literal statement, but as I've already gone over, if you would interpret the literal statement for what the literal statement means, sometimes you can be a vicious gaslighter. And I don't want to gaslight Dean. I want to give him the benefit of all the doubts he is absolutely entitled to, but no longer speaking positively about the movement we all supported. So Dean was always in support of Comicsgate? That seems new to me. Maybe it's just a troll, right?
Definitely not a troll. I've been Comicsgate since day one, guys.
But I don't know what this is. Liam Gray is anti-CG now. Okay.
Let me just get to some of these super chats real quick. DA Talks for $4.99. I heard Liam Gray is anti-CG now. It's a shame to see him in the chat, no longer speaking positively about the movement we supported so long. I bet Liam has a lot to say about that.
My boy, that's EVS right there. That's my boy.
Thank you, Eddie. DA Talks $4.99. Liam was just on a stream earlier this week with anti-CG figures Preston and Doug T. Also, he speaks down on CG. Seems anti-CG to me.
I've been Comicsgate since like the beginning of Comicsgate.
You don't even buy comic books, Dean.
That's just because comic book creators, something main industry, you get it. Hashtag Comicsgate.
You've never even liked comics.
Hashtag buy Cyberfrog.
You didn't even know about anything about Comicsgate till Tug.
Yeah, that is not true. You are just nasty.
So, yes, Dean is Comicsgate now because Ethan said so.
Not now, since the start.
Since the start, yes.
Since
I'm sorry. Since the very beginnings of CG, you didn't know it, but Dean has been in the back rooms of CG since the early days.
What?
Everybody knows who he is. He had a little hiccup. But he's back. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I don't know. No, oh my gosh. Did you say buy Cyberfrog?
Yes, I did. I said hashtag buy Cyberfrog.
Oh shit. You have gone full dark side, Dean.
Yeah. Oh, and then also check out line art. It's good stuff. But so I think what's really funny is if you check out that stream, like if you actually watch that stream, it's pretty obvious that I'm just joking. and that it's a troll.
So you have to wonder if when he used the clips for his show, if he actually watched the entire stream. Is that
Or
what
if
you're
he
implying?
just saw a clip. Yeah.
Yeah. That is the question of the ages, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. I have my own theories, and my thoughts do not include him actually watching the whole stream.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking also, like, what's being said on that stream, there's way more significant things being discussed and talked about. Not that they are significant, but in comparison to an obvious joke, those things probably would be the more interesting things to talk about. But that's what I'm flattered that my super chat made it into last week in Comicsgate. But
sorry. Anyway, on to, I guess, our final clip of the night. Probably the reason why there are 50 some odd of you here. Before I play it, and I want to give a little background into why I did it and why I was even paying attention to Shane Davis. I don't know if how many of you guys saw on Twitter the little exchange that I had with him that went on for far too long, because Shane seems to think that sending thirsty gifts is witty. Hours of that, just hours. I had posted a small clip from, I believe it was his stream, where he made a really bad joke that he said when he replied to me, when he quote tweeted me, that it was he thought it was a Chris Farley joke from back in the day. And it was a bad joke about orange penises and just stupid, and not something that I would and I was so mild about it because all I said was that Comicsgate streams keep getting stranger. I didn't make any other comment besides that, but I guess that was enough for him to take offense. I'd had one other interaction with him in a chat, I think on Nasser's channel, and I wasn't even paying attention to the fact that it was him. Like, when I first saw him giving me shit, I didn't even make the connection that it was Shane Davis, the Starlight Cats dude. I didn't even think about it. But he just started, I mean, I just figured, it's another one of those war campaign dorks, that's always sniping at me. And but it wasn't. And so when I replied to him, I told him that it was still fucking weird, because it was fucking weird. And I called him hun. And apparently that set him off enough that he had to call in his wife for backup and tagged her in the reply tweet and accused me of sexual harassment, which then went on.
a natural response. Yeah.
No, it's not, and so I was when she came at me, she only tweeted at me once, twice. The second time was when they both decided on the narrative that he was throwing these stupid gifts at me for hours on end because I had been using him for content. And we've never talked about him on this show. Have we?
No,
I
never.
don't think so.
Because
And I
this
think,
was the first time I've ever heard of him.
yeah, and I think the only comments I've ever made about him on Twitter were to say that his book looked cool. Really, because it's I mean, the art is nice. It's colorful, it's flashy. It's not my kind of book because I'm not a 10-year-old girl, but it looks really neat. And there is this misconception out there that that Yanzi, I believe her name is pronounced, is the one who is behind and the reason for Shane doing this book out the gate in Comicsgate. But it's not. Apparently, the farms are down right now. But Ethan had commented on Kiwi Farms that he is the one that had recommended to Shane that they start with Starlight Cats instead of the superhero book that they were going to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, which is kind of interesting. I was really surprised that Ethan would say that, unless he was just trying to cover for Shane. But Ethan doesn't tend to want to take the blame for anybody else's poor decision making.
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and we'll get right in here and witness a little sexual harassment.
Yeah. All right. You sharing my screen? Yep, there it is.
What do you think of me?
Would you if he was?
Wait, what?
Just do you accept me as who I am? Yes or no?
I don't know.
Just say yes, goddammit, Anna. Jesus Christ.
Maybe.
Yes, she accepts Shane. We all do.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what?
Shane! What the fuck, Shane?
I think you look really sexy right now.
See, that's what matters. That's the ticket.
You look like one of my friends.
Witten is
We're
high as
friends
fuck.
already. We're friends already. Now I
Yeah.
just get you to be friends with Yanzi, and we're good.
I'll be your guys' live-in maid. When I was living in Seattle, I was a live-in maid for this guy that worked at Amazon, and he paid me so much money.
To be a maid.
Well, Shane wouldn't be able to pay you so much money.
Well, I was gonna pay you in something else, but you know.
Yeah. What did you have to?
Mr. Behaven, thank you, Mr. Jet. Witten, do you understand what foreplay means? I'm sure she does.
Yes, and I don't like
She doesn't like it. One of the first things she put on the
Oh, whoa! You get straight to business,
I just want to be pounded.
like that.
What did I tell you, Cecil? She's just like the girl in the video I sent you straight away. She's one of them.
You know, you had made it a point to point out how weird it is that he's sending Cecil porn videos.
Whatever.
When we first talked about this.
What are you gonna do? Like run a feather over like a nipple or something? Like
No, I mean, there's different degrees.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Also, I don't want anyone's hands near my genitals because boys don't wash their hands and they're gross.
What's her sex voice like? There we go.
A lot of that.
Yeah, a lot of that. Yeah. Has anybody ever been on Zoloft?
That's
how
a
you start
normal
your day
thing to
off,
just
as a
ask
man
on
of
stream.
pleasure. That's what you in the mirror. You go, I would fuck me, so the world would fuck me. If I got
You never got to tell me, Shane.
Yeah, you put your butt up to the camera. I mean, I appreciated it. I'm sorry.
Did we not?
Yeah, send me some
Anna's
DMs.
face
Get all up in his DMs.
is just representing
I gotta introduce you to Yanzi. That's the thing.
exactly what I think about this whole shit.
Yeah.
Never gonna forget it now, except for if you ask me in 2 minutes. I've taken 2 more Klonopin as the day's gone on, so now I'm on like 3 times my daily dose. So it's like baby blue, and it goes like, it's got a bow. It goes
That'll
like,
do. That'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got an ink that matches it. And then in the back, there's like a little bow that goes over like your butt.
Yeah. It ain't got to stay on long.
Get off on head pats only.
Oh my god, I can do that. I can totally do that.
That's why I would be a great maid or like a great third because they don't
Do you
need
like-
a lot of pets.
Wait. Real question, Witten. Do you like to be scratched behind the ear? Like, is your ear sensitive?
Yes.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, because you like the head pat, right? Okay, spontaneous sex, you don't like foreplay, right? So, like, if it's the first time you're having sex with the dude, you just want
You're a married man. It doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter, but in theory,
In
Pretend,
theory.
you have. I drop a
So
disc.
cringe.
Maid,
Super
and
cringe.
Yanzi's standing by. Is she supposed to just grab you from behind? So, are you okay with sex with socks?
He is like high as fuck.
He's drunk off his ass.
But some girls are
Is
against
that
it.
it?
I just gotta,
Yeah.
you know.
So
But my favorite was drinking glitter glue, like from the slightly like little orange tip. I love drinking glitter glue.
Yeah.
I think that's shaped me as a person.
Glitter glue. It
Glitter
explains
glue.
so much that she was eating glitter glue.
I think she may have sniffed some glue before she came on. She looked high as fuck.
Oh, she was. She was high as fuck. He was drunk off his ass. I mean, it's just, I guess it's your typical Jack stream. I don't know. I never watched the Jack show. I don't. It's not my, one, I don't think any of them are funny. And they don't talk about anything really, but somehow, I mean, that's not even the worst. I mean, there was stuff I didn't even want to put in the video because I was afraid YouTube would gank us for violating some sort of community standards. Anna was hosting that particular episode of the Jack show, and it's unlisted now. She immediately unlisted that stream. It was that bad.
I would.
Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing. If anybody wants to see the whole thing, hit me up. I still got the link. But it was so gross. It was so gross.
Yeah,
And that
I agree. Like,
yeah.
and the fact that he has like the audacity to say that you calling him hun is sexual harassment is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Also, the Witten is, I guess she'd been gone for a while and came back. I don't know if Captain Manning is still in the chat, but he could tell all of us all about it. She has a video up on Pornhub that was posted to the farms in the Comicsgate thread. If anybody is really interested, but I don't recommend it. It's mostly her roaming around the streets, picking up cigarette butts off the street and smoking them, and then at the end she's briefly naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really, really bad. But that is what she was doing in her time away from Comicsgate. She is a comedian, by the way, and does not want to be known for anything involving sex. But she goes on the Jack show and talks about how she doesn't like eating women out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not my kind of thing. It was just. And Shane, man, that's just embarrassing. The man's
Yeah.
selling a children's book. And I know it's
Is
not
he really? Is that what it's a children's book?
well, it's an all ages book. But it's the kind of all ages book that mostly appeals to kids. It's not like Tug's children's book, which was actually a book for adults. This one is actually geared towards a much younger audience.
Yeah, he should not go on stream all super drunk like that. 'Cause that's embarrassing. That like
They all do it. I don't understand why they do. I mean, I can't
I don't
count
think they're all married though. Like,
quite a few of them. I mean, Ethan goes on stream drunk, and
yeah, but just I don't. I mean,
he's
do any of
pretty
them
drunk
act
quite a
like
few times.
that?
No, not like that. But then again,
Well,
how
then he
often?
probably shouldn't go on streams drunk.
Yeah, especially not if Witten is on there, I suppose. Easy women and all that. But yeah, I can't count how many times I've seen them, various creators, the higher ups in CG, like Kelsey Shannon, how many times I've seen him fall out of his fucking chair and pass out drunk.
Yeah.
There was, it happened with Cecil. One of the only times I ever agreed with Ro was when Ro was letting Ethan have it for encouraging Cecil to continue drinking when he was so drunk that he's lucky he still has a liver. I mean, just all sorts. That's what they do. That's the whole point, I guess, of the late night streaming. Just get drunk off your ass. And they said, like the Jack show, they explained it because there were people in the chat who had no idea what was going on because they rotate it, right? So they do it on everybody's channel. Next week will probably be Cecil's or Malin's or whatever. And there were people in the chat that had no idea what was going on when they were faced with Witten talking about her sex life. And they explained it as, well, this is just a group of friends show, and we're just a group of friends here, and just sitting and talking. I'm thinking, if this is the kind of shit you're talking about, why don't you do it in a private fucking chat? Like, why are you doing this for 4 hours in front of everybody else? Wenger had been on the stream earlier that day too, and he was totally hitting on Witten as well. But he's young and he's not married, so it wasn't as cringy.
I think no matter what, like it's all pretty cringe. That whole stream, Shane Davis was exceptionally fucking cringe. But so is Witten, honestly.
I was checking it. What do you want?
Well, you stopped by here.
Well, you were talking about people falling on their ass, so I thought I'd come in here.
You've been doing a lot of that lately?
No, I have a great clip.
Hmm.
Share my screen.
Let's see it.
This clip better not suck. Testify.
It's a gem. I'm telling you.
I paid him $10 to make sure it sucks.
And I'm getting a little bit of an echo from you, just so you know.
I don't care.
It's my lab coat that I never wash.
Look at that ass.
Oh.
That booty, boy.
All right. Oh.
Yes. Yes.
J Money pulled a rice.
Yes.
I was actually pretty disappointed when this clip started.
Oh my goodness.
Top shit. Top shit.
He's alive.
I give it a 10.
I give it an 8.
I give it a 10.
8.5.
Perfect 10.
An 8. Yeah, the twerking needed a little bit of work to give it a 10.
Wait a minute. Why is your chat just so hostile against me?
Because nobody
It's
likes
probably you.
Oh, you know what? You guys go away. Fuck. Go.
Thanks, chat. Really came through with the support on that one.
Oh, I think it might be. Oh, goodness gracious. I didn't expect him to leave so quickly.
I was okay with it.
I'm all right with it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A nice short
This week was pretty slow. So
It was very quiet. It's that quiet January. Not a whole lot of streaming. People are still on their best behavior.
it's been great for us because we don't have to watch all this trash. But then it also sucks because we don't have a lot of trash to show you. So
Yeah.
except
Yeah.
for Testify when he comes on.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Well,
hey, man.
hello. How are you tonight?
Procrastinating, so I figured I'd play around.
Nice.
Hi.
It's nice to see you. Long time no see. SJW Captain America.
Hi. Well, once you take a Twitter timeout, kind of slows things down for you.
Yeah.
That plus, Tug is irrelevantly like licking Johnny Depp's balls. So what else do I have to say?
That is true. I can't think of the last time he shilled his book.
I mean, it's still in the man, and that's a very loose term.
So we're gonna make this even more interesting.
What? Why did you kick me, Vicky?
I would never kick you, Testify.
Me.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to say, D.A. Stoller. Hi, hun.
Up, sweetie.
How you doing?
I'm okay. I feel a lot better. I was actually feeling pretty down, but then just you saying that, it really brightened my day. Testify. Thank you.
That's all I strive to do is make your day better. Vicky, why did you? I am a.
You are a victim, Testify. Yes, we all know. We've been hearing about it for 2 weeks.
Guys, the show. Goodbye, hun.
Oh, wow.
Jim says cash grab by Cecil is actually due this month. Good luck with that. Not only is it due this month, which we probably won't see, but the campaign was supposed to close. The in-demand portion of that campaign was supposed to close November 1st, and it is still open. So, weirdness. Yeah, that's total comics grift. And not because I do believe that eventually there'll be a cash grab book. Somebody will see it in their hands. But he's had over a year to get this book out on time.
I mean, he had a Dynamite contract and lost a Dynamite contract all in the time it should have taken for the book to come out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know if this is because of Donald, the art. I don't know what the holdup is because, like most comic skaters, they do not. Ooh, that's loud, Cap. They
Oh,
do
sorry
not.
about that.
They do not update their IGGs on a regular basis, so there's no way of knowing. If you have a campaign, you should be updating it at least every 2 weeks, and that's at a bare minimum.
Well, I mean, they run their campaigns like like box office receipts. So it's everything that they get in the first few weeks, and then like after that, they don't really care. It's obvious. They ramp up really hard before they announce. Then they release and they go really hard to get all the money up front, and then there's no updates until maybe the book comes like 2 years later.
Yeah. No, I mean, not all of them. I'm finally apparently Monster MD is in Vaughn's hands, and we should be getting that sometime soon, I think. That book is over a year late, I think. I don't know. It's so you lose track of time and how late these fuckers get when it goes past, 9 months. You're like, okay, it's been way too long. But yeah,
Why even give a release date at that point? Just say
Well-
the book will come out when it's finished, because they
They're-
never meet it.
they're required to at the beginning of the IGG. That one, actually, there have been campaigns that I have donated to, just a couple, where they've actually removed the date of when people are the estimated shipping date. They've just removed it from the campaign.
Yeah, give them points for honesty for those few that did it.
Yeah, but still, people have given their money. Andrew Huerta's Sovereign's never going to come out.
I mean,
Nobody's ever going to see that book.
yeah, well, I have a bit of a bias against most of these CG grifters. So
Hey, CG is full of honorable comic creators.
Well, Dean, you're part of it, so it can't be that honorable.
Yeah, Held House Studios. I'm actually looking forward to it as well. To
That
Monster.
was that cut deep.
Yeah.
That cut.
Just use that knife to cut the cocaine, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, I will sprinkle some cocaine in my wounds. I'll be okay.
That will always heal you. That is the
It will
super
make
soldier
me
serum.
numb to the pain. That is
The pain. Here, I'll bring some pain.
Yeah.
Hello, Glenn.
How's it going, guys?
It
What's
is
up,
going
Glenn?
great.
Good.
Glenn, this is SJW Captain America.
How's it going?
I'm good.
I want to bring some shocking news. It's really crushed me. Just
Dickard fell down the stairs again.
no.
He's not getting up this time.
Well, maybe. He's fine. I think. I don't know. I'm waiting for that call when he's drunk out in the middle of nowhere without his clothes. But we'll jump off that bridge when we get there. No, it's about Testify.
Oh, is it?
No.
Look,
the truth came out about him.
The truth came out. You know, war campaign exposed him. I don't know what to think anymore. See this shit? Did you know he's not actually in a wheelchair and the whole thing was a lie?
Dun, dun, dun.
I thought he was a real life Lieutenant Dan, and you know that hurts.
Are
I
you
feel lied to.
I was lied to. Kiss my ass, Midnight Cherry. There's gonna be no kicking Glenn. You know what? You can kiss my ass too, Manning.
He's mourning. He is hurt.
Yeah. You know, just had my world turned upside down last night, and I'm still not over it.
I'd kick.
Oh,
wait. So does that mean that he just has ED and that his you know?
Oh, you let him back on.
You fucking cat piece of mother.
Hey,
you
I'm
mother.
a truthful cat.
Ooh.
You know, I was gonna send you a poster of Billy Joel, but you can forget it now, buddy.
I don't have legs. Remember that, okay?
Liar. You have legs.
Prove it.
Okay. Y'all want to see how fast he runs when you play a rap video from the Word Nerd?
Oh, I'm out.
There you go.
I was just about to ask him what's his wife's name.
Ask Pan.
I mean, Pan would know.
That was crazy, man. They were all, those war campaign guys are all still spurring in my notifications on the same 2 threads, I think.
Every time it's just them responding to each other and how
After a while.
funny they all think they are, and it's like this is sad.
And
this
how
is fucking sad.
Once in a while, I do go online in my suspended account to check up on you two, and I saw them like going on a circle jerk about this.
It's
for
that every
hours.
time. It literally every time.
Like even when you guys stop responding, they just keep on going over and over, and it's a hail brother this and show me dick pics that, and can we see Testify's wife? It's just
I love war campaign.
I saw you have some interaction with an interesting sock account that popped up that was called Hanson Official. That was your mom Paula, apparently.
Wait, what?
Yeah, SJW Cap had interactions with this Hanson Official account that was called Your Mom Paula, and he'd asked her to put Pan in a timeout. Do you remember that? It was just freaking hilarious.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go cry some more over the whole lie. So
No, buck up, Glenn.
I will.
You'll be.
I'll
better.
get over it. Y'all have a good night.
You too. So, but there we go.
Yeah.
Who's the clout chaser, Captain Manning? Glenn?
Testify.
I say it's Glenn.
It's definitely Testify.
It's you, Vicky.
It
I
is-
saw all the gifs of you being thirsty. You are so chasing the clout.
Yeah, I'm chasing Shane Davis's clout.
Where'd the cat go?
He was too brokenhearted.
Why does he have to chase my clout?
Anyways.
Thank you so much for joining us, SJW Captain America.
Oh, no problem. You
It was-
know, I can show up every once in a while.
Yeah, it was nice to get a chance to talk to you. Nobody in the chat has any idea who you are, which is so fabulous.
Oh man, it's like I lost the entire reason why I existed.
I know. Once they kick you off of Twitter.
Yeah, you know, they kick you off Twitter. Tug stops talking about comics. I can't send them gummy dicks anymore. You know, you just lose all
I
your
was
reason
thinking
for
about
existing.
that just the other day.
Yeah, you mentioned it the other day.
It's just I will always find it so weird that apparently you're the pussy when like Tug is just so scared because some gummy dicks, but you're supposed to be the pussy.
Right.
It's just,
Well,
man,
and it's
I'll
just
never get over that.
and all the fantasies that followed after that, because it wasn't just that, you know, that he got the gummies, but then apparently, you know, I'm scared, but yet I'm hiding in bushes, or it was just all these stories.
I'm terrified this guy's gonna show up. Like, it terrifies me for my family. But also I'm gonna pimp him out.
Exactly.
So unbelievable. Like, stick to one.
Hello, Thomas.
Hello.
Hello.
Yo.
Yeah, I did notice it was a generally slow week. I mean, it should always be a slow week for Comicsgate. It's certainly a slow week for the releases. No new comics. They got so many creators, but not a single comic release this week.
In just a few days, though.
Cash
what-
grab, yeah.
Oh no, I was
Fuck
gonna
yeah.
say the campaign or pre-orders for Comic America 3.
Yeah, that's well. I mean, those are comics that actually come out. That's not really comics.
What?
It's actually officially not Comicsgate, because why can't we see little hashtag Comicsgate on there?
They were talking about that in that Bancroft stream when they use whether or not to use the hashtag and why they use the hashtag and how
I don't get why they didn't just use the hashtag. or even like use it as a brand, or they had the trademark for it this whole time. I guess Preston has it now, but the whole time they had the trademark and never used it. And it's like they're constantly talking about how Comicsgate this and this person's not Comicsgate, which, by the way, if anyone at all in the movement ever says that something is or isn't Comicsgate, you have a leader. There's just no way around that. But I noticed I guess Preston officially has the trademark, and I don't even hear much about it from Preston. I don't hear much about Preston in general, though.
I don't think he does officially have it yet.
Yeah, I don't think he does either.
It'll be a couple
I
more
listened to like his last video, and he was like, "Oh, you know, these my comics." You know, he'll always plug his comics in the Last Week in Comicsgate, even though when he does the Last Week in Comicsgate, he's not referring to him or his comics somehow. So
that is interesting.
He comes off as self-confused with that now. It's kind of sad.
I think it's like pending approval, but I don't think he quite has it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of clear that he can get it, but when he I watched Preston's video last time, and you were right. Is that all of the Last Week in Comicsgate videos are either about him or about how he's kind of stuck on Ethan Van Sciver and stuff, and it's just a lot of really weird, irrelevant shit that he almost wants to personally involve himself in. Some of it's just kind of off-putting. It's a little sad sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's in a lot of war campaign, which is
perhaps
so
a bit too
irrelevant.
much.
You know,
which is weird because then he joins their stream, so it's like, how much can you talk about them when you're like clearly in their streams, like
Yeah,
friendly.
like War Campaign did this.
Oh,
stupid
I
thing,
could
and
totally
then,
talk about Thomas or Testify if they did something stupid.
Yeah, true. But I mean, you know, a lot of that stuff has to happen. I mean, in my case, it would have to actually happen.
Yeah, Thomas is too smart to be able to talk about him doing something stupid.
Yeah, that's right. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just weird as the whole last week in Comicsgate. I remember I used to watch it and be like, "Oh, what's some funny stuff that's going to happen this time?" Now, when I watch it, it's just kind of sad to think
yeah,
about.
it's changed a lot for sure.
Mm-hmm.
A
Between
lot
all
of
the
the
infighting and
content
splintering.
Well, no, it just used to be like, you know, poking fun or like pointing things out, and now it's just how it all relates to Preston.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't most of the time.
Yeah, or it's like anything that is dumb, but if it doesn't have anything to do with Preston, he might just ignore it or something, or doesn't seem to talk about it.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of things he misses because he doesn't because there's no way he can relate it back to him. You know,
And
but
plus,
so
like-
it's changed a lot for sure.
And still 90% of the stuff he gets is still from Vicky. It's like he doesn't really know anyone who, you know, keeps track of this stuff to keep him, you know, in the loop with like, oh, here's something that happened over here. The people around him don't even seem that interested or interesting even to some degree. It's kind of sad how everything that was even remotely related to Comicsgate just fractures and splits among itself, even, you know, with the people who left the movement. I noticed that a lot with people who left the movement still have this weird bitterness towards anyone who wasn't Comicsgate. I know a lot of people who used to be in Comicsgate are like, oh, it's the SWC, they like, people are just pissed off at me because we were never anything to do with Comicsgate. So, and so they fracture off from Comicsgate, and then they fracture off from the Antis or whatever the fuck, and then they fracture then further aside from each other, and it's just it kind of shows that all of them really just belonged in Comicsgate all along. If they're going to just keep, you know, backbiting and gutter sniping constantly like they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, when your movement starts basically as a way to gatekeep, and then you create different tiers of gatekeeping so that you can always stay on the upper tier of the next people coming up. So it's, you know, here's all these levels, but I'm always going to come up with a new level that I'm at that you would need to somehow attain to then be upper level of my movement.
Yeah, that's right off the bat too. Like the very beginning was tiers of gatekeeping, and then like if you weren't even, it was the gatekeeping, and then they couldn't admit it, and they couldn't admit they had tiers, and they couldn't admit that they had leaders, while all of those things were completely public. It was weird actually watching Comicsgate go into full like psychological, like a psychotic break from reality, and go into denial about the fact that they were saying "Hail Caesar" out of one side of the mouth, and then we don't have leaders out of the other side of that same mouth. So
yeah, and I think when Ethan joined it, that's when a lot of it changed. Because once Ethan joined, his narcissism would not allow there to be anybody else at the top of the heap. So at that point, you had a set leader, and no matter what they said to try to change it, it was always like you said, "Hail Caesar," and then he would refer to himself as Caesar, and then other people would say how they were taking orders from Caesar and all this other idiotic Greco-Roman LARPing that they used to do.
Yeah, there's an actual paper trail of it too, which is like it's almost too incriminating to the point where you'd say it's like a false flag. If this were like a government operation, it would be such an obvious false flag. But with comic book nerds, it's sometimes people are just that dumb, apparently.
Well, I think it's been a long time, you know, and like Ethan was talking about, you know, it's been years of this now, right?
A lot of it has really fizzled out too.
Yeah, and it is really starting to fizzle out. I saw some recent numbers as of like 6 o'clock this evening. Comicsgate hadn't made I want to say it was like $2,600 out of 23 of 84 active in-demand campaigns. Now, I know in-demand doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of money, but there are 84 campaigns that are Comicsgate in demand right now.
In demand is just a way for a campaign to try to keep making money after its campaign ended, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's after the 30 or the 60 days, and hopefully you get more backers while you're waiting for, your artist to finish or whatever.
Or you're stalled out with backers and have kept your book in demand for like almost a year. Like a
Right,
certain
or you
Johnny
have
Depp fan.
or you have some other goal in mind as far as the money. Dan Fraga's book is supposed to be out this month, and it's late. As well
So
as
that's
sequels.
not cash grab. So that and cash grab then, or is that
Yeah,
cash?
he said today on his stream that it was going to be late. He was very non-specific about it, so I'm guessing it's going to be pretty goodly late by at least.
You know what that reminds me of is that Villains of the Snow Sea #2. Last I really knew is that it had stalled out because the artist was like worried about a possible encroaching World War III or collapse of the EU and that kind of thing. But so far it hasn't happened. Like, they haven't set up the gulags just yet. They're still working on the gulags, which means he was able to sort of come back, and he actually started doing more work on chapter 2, which I was about to just take what he did on chapter 2 and just sort of shove it out there and be like, this is what I got so far, at least. But he's actually coming back in chapter 2. Looks like it's going to be sort of a double length now, and it might be done within the next couple of months. So it's, even after all that, it's still going to beat most of Comicsgate's comics that people have been waiting 2 years for.
Yeah, excellent.
So
That's
yeah,
good.
that should be out, and it will be on sale, print edition on Amazon and digital on Comixology and Gumroad.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice. I'll have to.
It's nice to actually get a comic out and be like, hey, look, comics are actually coming out. That and Common America 3, I'm actually really looking forward to, for real. Like, I'm just going to actually back that. I know I could get a free copy from Tim, but I'm going to actually back it too.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
back it, and
same.
also the Black Ops crossover later on this year. I
Yeah,
can't
I'm just
wait
going to
for that.
buy
I'm
all of
very
their
excited
actual
I
about it.
still need Black Ops 3.
I think that's on Comixology, probably for like $2 or something.
Yeah.
I think he wants actual physical copy.
Yeah.
Thomas dropped out.
Yeah.
I lost Thomas. Yeah, you wanted the physical copy, didn't you, and not the.
No, I do. I had I remember I talked to Tim and I was like, "Hey, where should I go to buy this?" And we got like talking, and then the question was never answered. Because I was like, I want to support you guys, so I just need to know where's the best place.
You may be able to find a copy on Antarctic Press through Antarctic
Oh yeah,
Press.
I think that's how I bought Walmart 2 or something, or was it? Yeah,
You
I think
can
it was Walmart
also-
2. I bought it from their website.
Yeah, check the Iconic Comics too, which is their the people who do their fulfillment.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
a storefront, so you could check with them, but check with Antarctic Press would be. And if you can get it through an Antarctic Press, you could probably order it through your local comic book shop.
It can be a little, if you'd order it directly from Antarctic to your house, which I did, most of the cost is going to be in shipping, so it can be like a little expensive. But then again, if you already know the book's going to be good, like if it's a Tim and Mark book, if you've read their books, then you're like, oh, their books are good. So you already know that you want to, because that's one of the biggest pitfalls I found in buying comics. I used to post about this like every single week back on the blog a bunch of years ago, but it was like I would post about how like, oh, this comic looks good, I'm going to start buying this. Like I used to buy Saga when that came out. I was like, oh, hey, a new thing, brand new IP that can start fresh. I don't have to keep up with years of continuity before this. I can just completely start right at the beginning. and keep up with it. And then by issue 20, I was like, nothing's happening. It was a weird sort of slight story where there wasn't a lot of storytelling and was just jumping around without too much weight for it. And it was, and there was a couple other comics that I started buying like that from Image too. And I was like, yeah, this, I'm like, oh, I'm excited. And then a couple issues later, it's like, oh, this was a complete waste of money. And with Tim and Mark's books, it's like, if you've read a couple of them, if they're worth your money at least. And so it's like, whatever the price is, it's never really that expensive.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, when you find a good book, the price is, like Thomas said, the price is worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as the book is any good sometimes. But with Tim and Mark's books, especially the Common America, like the Black Ops one.
I like the art.
Yeah, the art's great. I mean, it's almost worth it for the art. But the thing is, I've never been a person who's like, oh, this comic has good art, therefore I'm going to like it anyways. Good art is pretty important. But the first thing I want is at least of remotely tolerable story. It has to have something to engage me. And then if it has good art, it's like, times 10, that much better. And that's great.
Well, I mean, I was forged in the, in the battle of the 90s, comics implosion. So I'm well aware of comic books that were all art and zero substance. So I'm at the point where if it doesn't have, a plot, it doesn't have good story, the art could be nice, but when I go through, oh look, I testify.
Speaking of remotely tolerable, I have an exclusive for Vicky and Hun after the show finally ends.
All right.
Oh no.
Thank you.
And especially Hun.
Well, who knows when it's going to end?
Thanks.
Now that I'm on, this might go for another 2 hours.
Thomas, did you get a new mirror for Christmas?
Wait, which one's Hun?
Did you get a new mirror for Christmas?
Oh no, I kept the old one.
Okay, that was funny actually.
Vicky did call me Hun once, so
Yeah, Dean is Testify's Hun.
Oh, that's right, because it's
I'm a ladies' man after all.
Offensive sexual harassment.
And you prove you're a ladies' man by being Testify's Hun.
Yes.
We're not holding on to anything. Let the Hun do that.
Let the Hun begin. But yeah, no, it won't go that much longer. I think we got just a couple more minutes.
It is, it's been an hour.
Well, this was going to be the short stream.
We try not to go much past an hour.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I plug my comic at least.
Yeah. You lose the chat, you lose, the back starts to hurt, you gotta pee, you want a cigarette. Who wants
I mostly want a cigarette.
Do the work that I was awake for.
Yeah, I mostly want a cigarette. And I don't understand the big long 3-4 hour streams. I don't know how they do it.
If it happens, it happens. Because me and brother used to do a few really long streams, like we had Doug on that time. We had Doug and Tim and he's silly on, and that was like 3 hours, and an hour and a half of that was reviewing Tails Gets Trolled. And, that's a delightful episode, of course. So it's like, if it can go on for that long, if it has to, which sometimes for us it did have to, but
yeah, I mean, if it organically goes that long, but most of the time, when you're looking at them in their 3 to 4 hour streams, it's just rambling, it's insulting people, and then with Shane Davis and all that, it's just getting liquored up and just saying whatever.
Yeah, like weird, like forced humor where everyone in there is convinced that they're funny. So over 3 hours, they're going to try and prove it by just saying any random thing. And it's like, oh, I said a random thing, it's funny. And it's like, no, not really. But everyone in the chat's going to, be the clapping seals and convince them that they're funny, because it's more about the cult than actually any merit. I mean, they definitely aren't about rewarding merit.
Yeah, they saw Mr. Show and they saw Eric Andre Show, and they learned all the wrong lessons.
If they even watch that, I mean, most of the, everyone over 40 in Comicsgate probably has never heard of Eric Andre.
Oh, yeah, that's most of them then.
Yeah. Fucking Doug Tenable, though, he probably has never really heard of Eric Andre either, but he's he's approaching 400K subs, and it's kind of cool to see just because of the thought of like Ethan Van Sciver sitting in his basement screaming into a gun barrel as he watches Doug's subscriber count climb.
I mean, here's a fun fact: my wife knew Eric Andre when they went to high school together. So
everyone really should. Everyone should have at least seen some weird, so everyone should have watched his interview with who's the basketball player that went to North Korea.
Dennis
Rodman. Yeah, Eric Andre with Dennis Rodman on was great, and that's only a few minutes long too, and it's just hilarious.
I mean, any clip with Eric Andre and Hannibal Buress together vibing is just amazing comedy.
The weird stuff that they did. Oh yeah, the time they had Flava Flav on and Hannibal Buress, it just kicks Flava Flav right in the face. Can't believe they did that.
Well, one of my favorites was the really long bit where Eric Andre destroys his entire set and then sits down exhausted, and then the set rebuilds around him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like after he destroys the set physically, then it's like, okay, we're gonna have the next guest, and like a new curtain and a new desk just come down from strings from the ceiling. So like,
and then Hannibal Buress just shows up like everything's normal. Like,
hey,
what did I miss?
Yeah. Anyways, one thing that also reminded me, like super long streams, like 5-hour streams, is somebody just linked to a bunch of EFAP videos because they're like, oh, the new Wonder Woman movie. It's instead of even reviewing the movie, they're reviewing other people's reviews and videos about it. It's like,
oh my god,
all right. That movie was not that bad. I think here's the problem.
It wasn't good, but I liked how much of a mess it was. That's the thing, is we have a review of it, but it's behind the paywall for the pay pigs only. I wanted to make sure to plug that too, as well as Villains of the Snow Sea 2 coming out soon. We do have more videos up for the $5 tier on our Patreon, patreon.com/smuglady.
Yeah, I think everybody expects every fucking movie that comes out to be some sort of masterpiece. It's either going to be really great or it's going to be really bad. And nobody's willing to just sit through something that's kind of in between. Like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the new Wonder Woman movie because I didn't go in there expecting or demanding that it be,
like change
everything in a bag of chips.
I was expecting it to be horrible.
I just wanted to watch it, be entertained for an hour and a half.
Just some action.
Well, it was longer than an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was about 2 hours.
That was the only thing that I honestly noticed when I watched it. It was like, wow, this is going way too long.
Yeah, the intro didn't need to be in there. The intro on mascara.
But I mean, I didn't mind the movie. I think for me, the problem with Wonder Woman 84 is that there wasn't a lot of like acknowledging the time. So I don't know why you said it in 1984, other than to avoid like tying back to the Snyder movies.
There's not.
But ironically enough, the plot is something that would have been basically a 1980s movie, and that's part of the problem. So you set in 1984, and you make your plot very like body swap movies and 80s, type of plot, and then but you're setting that now, so you have an audience who has basically seen body swap movies and done the whole thing of like, oh, is this consent? And we've lived through Reagan years, so we all know about like geopolitical things. So, and you're trying to play in this 80s sandbox that would have worked fine during Iron Eagle time, but like you're setting it in 2021, like it's not going to work out the same way. Your audience is not the same.
It kind of reminded me in a way of the old Linda Carter Wonder Woman TV show.
Yeah, the campy kind of. Actually, one of the things I liked.
But it's like it wasn't quite campy enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they didn't quite pull the trigger on all of the ideas that they had. They almost had it. And then
it needed one more draft. It honestly, the script needed one more pass through, and I think you could have caught a lot of the minor things that could have been fixed. Like
one more draft by the same person, not by the script almost feels like it was written by 10 different people too. Sometimes,
like I don't get the point of bringing back Steve if you're just gonna put him in the body of somebody and never acknowledged the consequences of that. And then on top of that, and then on top of never acknowledging the consequences of it, then later on in the film, you have the magic rock powers create just a magical wall. So you just could have made Steve appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You didn't have to create an issue that you know was going to be an issue.
I
There's
think
no way you got that far and didn't think, wait, you know, we've made a point that he's in this guy's body and everybody else has seen this guy's face.
I think the reason they did that was because they wanted a scene where, you know, he dressed up in different kinds of clothes and stuff, and it's like, but where's he gonna get the clothes? And it's like, oh, just have him take over someone else's body. It's
But
like,
they could have done that because they did that with Diana in the first movie. You take him go shopping, and then you do basically you do the Pretty Woman thing at a shopping at a store while you're going shopping, and it's the same reversal. And you could have had the same scene. It gets complicated when you say Steve is in this guy's body and everybody else sees Steve. And what happened to that guy's consciousness? Where's his family? This guy disappears for like a week and a half.
complicated, yeah.
He doesn't have a passport, but did you check? Because, you know, like, he is a human being. He might have had a passport.
But they're just going to steal a fighter jet and fly it from DC to Cairo, which that not really possible either. But by that point, I was like, whatever.
The reason they did that was so they could do the whole invisible jet thing.
Sure, but then, but it's a fighter jet that's at the museum, fully fueled and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
I thought it was an Air Force base, to be honest. I don't fucking. There's a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people missed out on because the Red Letter Media review, they seem to have missed a lot of plot points that are explained in the movie, and they had to go address that and be like, oh, wait, yeah, that is explained. But it's a lot of weird shit anyways. The movie's weird, but that's why I liked about it, because what it reminded me of is like Masters of the Universe. It is a very 80s movie, and I like that.
I mean...
Oh, wow. You be loud, Mr. Moon.
I think that means it's time.
I think so too.
Time for someone to go to sleep there. Send him to bed.
But no, it's getting past that point.
Yeah,
too.
right. Sure.
It's an hour and a half. But thank you everybody in the chat who hung around.
Yay.
For an hour and a half. Thank you very much, SJW Captain America, for joining us. It was nice getting a chance to talk to you again.
Yeah, I have to do this again.
Yeah, and Thomas with his book Villain of the Snow Seas in a couple of months on Amazon.
Issue 1 is still out on it's on
Dump-
Amazon, and it's also on Comicsology for really cheap. The digital version is very cheap. And also on Patreon, we have secret videos now because we have to post them behind a paywall so that not just everyone can watch them. So it's $5.
Wait, just
it's like the OnlyFans of you.
You put a somebody else's comic book behind a paywall, which was your Patreon. At least that's what I heard from Liam. But anyway,
yeah, I remember Liam said. The weird thing is, Liam said that knowing full well the comic that he meant was a comic he put up for free on a website that's completely public, and you don't have to pay
you
any
did a
money
review.
to it.
Like,
I
you
will
didn't
not have you all besmirching Liam Gray's honor.
We will.
The crown.
See, that's the kind of shit that gets you not invited back.
Anyways, thanks everybody. It was a pleasure talking to everybody here, and it was a pleasure reading the funny chats in the chat section.
Next week will be on Dean's channel, DA Talks.
What?
So be sure to head over there, subscribe, and hit that silly little bell so you know when it shows up.
It's gonna be Sunday, same time. It's Sunday, same time. We'll be 10 minutes late.
Always.
Maybe
always.
15.
One time we were like 30 minutes, but anyways, that's
it's neither here nor there. Everybody have a great night. Thanks so much.